Welcome one and all to another edition of the Defo Show with Lubie here on the 5 Reasons Sports Network, brought to you by Water Cleanup of Florida. The weather plays tricks on us all year long down here in South Florida. This time of year, you get used to the warm, then you get some cold, then you get some rain, then you get some heat. You get it all, and I'm sure it wreaks havoc to our home and our offices, but it doesn't matter because we have Water Cleanup of Florida. Water damage, fire issues, no worries. 954-579-0356. Just call that number 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year. And Water Cleanup of Florida will be there for you. 954-579-0356. Michael, Robert, George, their entire team has well over 60 years of combined experience. Plus, with certified, insured contractors on staff, they'll diagnose the issue, they'll fix it, and then they'll make it look brand new. They did it for my wife and myself at our townhouse. They'll do it for you. 954-579-0356. Check out their website, WCUFL.com. On the socials at Water Cleanup FL. And with well over 80 5-star reviews on Google, you don't just need my word, even though believe me, it was a pleasure working with them. Google will be your friend in regard to Water Cleanup of Florida as well. Water Cleanup of Florida. If you have the schmutz, believe me, they have the guts. One group that didn't have guts was the College Football Playoff Committee. It was set up nice and easy. You had 3 undefeated Power 5 conference champion, and you had Texas, who had beaten Alabama by 10 at Alabama, who had just beaten Georgia. Nice and easy. But they'd have to deal with the SEC. They'd have to deal with ESPN. They may have had to deal with Fox, who own going forward the rights to the Big Ten, and ESPN has the rights to the SEC. So what they do, they did what they wanted, and they made it a futuristic all Big Ten, all SEC Final Four. My Florida State Seminoles got left out. Those Canes fans out there, if Florida State gets left out, the Canes would have got left out too. Oh, and the Dolphins keep rolling. Big victory. We talked about it all on a Pigskin Playbook with the one and only John Congemi right here on the Defo Show with Lubie on the 5 Reasons Sports Network.
On the sporting front, and really, there should be some kind of investigation into all of the committee members and find out how much money they got from the Tuscaloosa faithful.
Because we can bring John on, but it just tells. Well, no, that's what people. You got robbed. No, we didn't get robbed. We never had a chance. Like what it.
And they had them 5th even when they were undefeated, even though Oregon had a loss.
Every week, remember, Jordan Travis was playing, and they were winning, and they were winning by double digits every fucking game, and they started doing this thing where they're like, "Will FSU be 4?" It's like, yeah, they won. Like, why wouldn't they? Like, what do you mean? And Jordan Travis was playing. Like, the minute Travis got hurt, they're like, nice. We don't need him anymore. They're definitely going to lose.
Oh, no, that was it.
They were excited. They're like, okay, cool. They moved this out even though we won. They moved this to 5, and I was like, that's fucking weird. We won by like 50. Okay. And then they moved us back. Okay, so now you're just playing with us. Like, do we have a chance or we don't? Like, let me know. Like, why don't
they were in the Final Four before?
Yeah, they won by 10. They won by 10.
They had to stay there. Yeah.
Louisville's offense is top 20. Louisville averages 500 yards a game. Louisville averages nearly 33 points a game. They held them to 6. They held them to 6 points.
That was impressive. And you know, you had to manufacture a win. I remember texting you, hey, can they do anything besides throw the ball to the line of scrimmage? If Marino had gone down when you were at Pittsburgh, John, and we bring on John Congemi for the Pigskin Playbook here, we know Lubie's feelings on this, and they're, I think, more than validated and justified at this stage. I don't know what your opinion is. You know, should the criteria be, in our opinion, these are the best 4 teams, or if somebody met all the previous credentials and criteria requirements to be in the championship hunt, should they not sustain their position there and be there? Well, what do you think about this whole mess, John?
This is
John Congemi, by the way, brought to you by Jimmy Johnson's Big Chill.
It was a crazy one because somebody was going to get hosed in winning a conference championship, and when I caught the end of what you guys were just talking about. And when Florida State got moved out when they won, that was the first sign that people were cheering because they were waiting for something to happen to either Washington, Florida State. Something was going to happen. So if the inevitable happened in the SEC championship, which it did, then the unprecedented move going from 8 to 3 or 4 could happen. And that's when the talking points went out to everybody. It's not about XYZ. It's about the best team and how you are now and who's hurt and who's not
Never
hurt.
that way. Never in 10 years.
I think that
Since when do you check the injury report to
They've
decide
never
the
done
national
10
championship?
years of playoffs. This is literally the first time an undefeated conference champion was booted out for a one-loss team. The first time in 10 years of playoffs.
Yeah.
For two one-loss teams on top of that.
Two, I'm sorry, for two. Yeah,
It's
this was
amazing,
two one-loss
Yeah. It was amazing. I kind of felt like it was going to go that way, and I just didn't believe that they would do it at the end of the day. But when it came back and everybody started talking about, now remember what it says is the best team, not the, however they phrased it, the most rewarding team or the most team with the best
accomplished in terms
resume
of record,
and all that stuff. It's about how you are now, not how you were a month ago or a month and a half ago, and how the team was designed and who was playing at that time compared to who's playing now. I thought the FSU AD in that letter that he wrote was perfect. Lubie, he was talking about now we're in the game, or we're imagining hypotheticals instead of what really happened on the field.
That's it.
And I think that's exactly what happened to Florida State. They didn't give them credit for winning on a team that encompassed so many different things to get them to where they were. Yeah, Travis was a huge part of that team. And with him gone, they're going to play a little differently, but they still were able to win games without him and win games, tough games, not easy games. So I just think that Florida State, at the end of the day, you knew it was coming to somebody. And when they saw an opening to kind of get an injured team, because they were wounded without their quarterback. They weren't as strong, but they still managed to win, and they got no credit for doing that. They actually
this exact
they took the bullet for that.
Alabama with Jacob Coker, who was a Seminole, was a backup. Average as fuck. Their offense was literally this. This was their offense. Run. Actually, no, we did more. We found a way to do the Wildcat and be fun in the second half. If you notice, the second half, people stopped bitching about the offense because we moved the goddamn ball in the second half to shut people up, but we disregard that because we don't want Florida State there. Alabama with Jacob Coker, okay, was a backup. They played this. They ran. They played defense. There was a 9-6 LSU Alabama. 9-6. We scored 7 more points in this game than that 9-6 Alabama LSU conference championship. That was a defensive battle. The 20s brought back. Newt Rockney would be proud. We actually scored points. Like, we moved the ball. We woke up and realized we were fucked. So we tried to do some shit instead of just winning 6-3, which we could have, or 7-6, which we could have. No, we put up 16. We did more than they did with a backup. They showed 5 different cases where a backup quarterback was playing and a team still got in the playoffs. 5 cases in the last 10 years. Like, if Jalen Milroe gets hurt, there's no way Alabama doesn't get in. No. Look, Alabama got in without deserving it. So they would have definitely got in then. Georgia, if Georgia's had a quarterback get hurt, just win. Find a way to win. And it wasn't Ohio State, Wisconsin. Well, Ohio State beat Wisconsin by 50. Georgia doesn't beat anyone by 50. Georgia doesn't even play that way. They don't even try to win by 50. Backup quarterback, Georgia gets in. That's my problem. Like the Colin Cowards and the Doug Gottliebs and and Kirk Herbstreit, who literally was once really heralded and now is just all in the bag for SEC. You're not making cases, guys. You're just saying SEC pays us a lot of money. Fox, ESPN, we need the SEC in there. We're not even they're not hiding it. Like Boo Corrigan literally Tuesday said, these criteria are what matter. Undefeated, conference champion, head-to-head. So that's why I was like, oh, okay, they can say all the crap they want. Boo put us back to number 4 and said, as long as we win, as long as Texas wins, if Georgia goes down, we're both in. Like, he said it. He said it yesterday, and he said, look, injury doesn't change things. Florida State still has a great defense. Florida State still has so many other players on there. He said everything to try and show, look, guys, if you go win and win decent, like don't win by a 1 on a last-second play. You win, you control the fourth quarter, which we did again. You'll be in. We did it. Texas did it. Texas dominated Oklahoma State. Alabama beats Georgia. Okay, Georgia's out. Go right in. You got your 4. Yesterday, magically, he never said any of these things. Well, we were thinking about it. Injury does matter.
Yeah.
Dude, 5 days ago, you didn't say that. 5 days. Dude, what is this? Like Trump, we have video of you saying 5 days ago, injury doesn't matter as long as the team wins, as long as the team finds a way, because defense matters. And the defense played, I've never seen a defense play that well. Louisville has one of the best offenses in the country. Louisville looked scared by the end of that game. Literally, Florida State was just like, all right, fuck it. And just killing them. Okay. And that isn't Iowa, by the way. That's what's so funny about this whole thing is Michigan, who cheated twice this year, their coach was suspended twice this year, played the same way. Like Michigan played 2 games where they just ran for entire halves.
Right.
Really tried to throw, just ran. We had more yards in our game versus Louisville's actually better defensively ranked than Iowa. We had more yards than Michigan, and we're better. Iowa's offense is one of the worst in the country. Louisville has an elite offense. We actually were better than Michigan if we're playing this stupid-ass game, which we don't need to because Michigan was undefeated. Michigan should be in. That's my problem. Like, none of the arguments the people who are for what happened are logical. They're just, you wanted the SEC in so bad that you didn't care. Okay, so then why play? Why did FSU play Saturday at all? Like, it wouldn't matter. We could have won 40-0, and they would have found a way. Yeah, but it doesn't matter. There's no
even my dogs are going crazy.
Well, 40-0.
This argument. What do you think, John? I mean,
Well,
about all of this. I mean,
Lubie, to your first point,
all of that's logical.
To your first point, Lubie, did you notice during the Florida State-Louisville game, and I like Joe Tessitore.
I never talked about the game.
But all he did was downplay how many first downs were being made and how boring the game was and how this is not the way it's supposed to be. But to your point, if it was Michigan and Iowa or Michigan whoever, and it was a defensive battle, it would have been, this is the way football, you're going to win at the line of scrimmage. It's a Big Ten battle. It's an SEC battle. It's men against boys when you talk about the way they play defense and the way their offensive line moves people against their will. That's almost like a bravado of the Big Ten or the SEC.
Yes.
But if you do it in the ACC, you can't. You're not efficient. You stink on offense, evidently. But the Florida State's allowed to play good defense too and get credit for it. But no one ever really said it.
Well, that's my.
Jesse Palmer did. I have to stick up for him. He actually was talking about those points. But it seemed like it was being driven by the negative
narrative
of the game. Yeah.
Look, the offense was abysmal. No one's saying it was good. Did you watch JJ McCarthy's what, a 3-year starter? 4-year starter?
I think so.
You watch Michigan? Has anyone? So it clearly just no one's watching Michigan. Like, they're just watching the result because Michigan's offense has been asked for like a month and a half. Like, they're not even trying. Like, at least FSU with these young guys are trying. It scared me to death half the time, but they're trying. Michigan's like, now we're just going to run. Our defense is so good. If we can get 10, 13, we'll win. Okay, so why is it okay for them? With their starter, you have your starter, a guy who people once were saying a top 10 pick. I mean, he's obviously not a good quarterback. You have your starter, and you're going old school, 3 clouds and dust. We have our third stringer, and we're trying to throw with the same result, winning by double digits, which is what Michigan did. Why are we not like? That's my thing is there's no logic to it. It's okay. You were bought and paid for. It's wrestling. Like, and I know we all love this sport. That's why, to me, it's not even that I'm getting angry now because we're talking about it, but I'm actually hasn't been angry. I've just been sad because if it was another team, I would feel the same way. I wouldn't be as angry because my team did it, but I'd be as sad. Like, to me, this is clear where we thought we were going to be in 3 years. We're now where in 3 years it was going to be the SEC Big Ten when they worked everything out. No, we're there now. Like, look, it's an all SEC Big Ten final. January 10th, Washington's in the Big Ten, Texas in the SEC. Look, they didn't hide it. They made it clear we didn't want anyone else in. Texas is not the Big 12 anymore. They're the SEC. Washington's not the Big 10. They're the SEC. They're
not the Pac-12, the Big 10.
Not the Pac-12. They're the Big 10. Right. Okay, so then why did we play? Like, why did these kids risk injury? Like, you were never putting. We could have Travis in there, and they were going to come up with the same garbage. Georgia could have won. That's it. Well, if Georgia won, they would have put no, they wouldn't have. They would have put Texas in. They didn't want us in. They did not want us in, even though we played the same way Michigan's played. There's no dominant team. Like, people, well, Michigan would have waxed them. No, they wouldn't have. Michigan hasn't waxed fucking anyone good. Anyone Michigan played that had a ranking near their name or ever were.
It's always been a tight game.
Yeah.
So why would we have not been better than we're not better than Iowa? Get the hell out of here. Like, I'm sorry. Like, the Doug Gottlieb got, the 4 best. No, that's not true. You didn't put in the 4 best.
Well, we might have to take a break to just hose Lubie down here, John. Welcome to the show, by the way.
He's right. I agree with him.
There's no. It's just a joke. Nick Saban, as soon as he started campaigning for this thing, you're looking at it going, okay, that's what's going to happen. And in order to accommodate Nick, and if they somehow beat Georgia, which they did, and you snap the team's 29-game winning streak, even if they weren't as good as they were in previous years. Georgia was certainly suspect at different times this year. Didn't play well in this ball game at all. Alabama had a good ball game, and they win by 3 points. But there's no way to disqualify Florida State and justify it. It's just it makes no sense. If you were on that team, John, I mean, like we said, let's say Marino had gone down, Pittsburgh was number one in the country, and they eliminated you. They had the same circumstances now that or then that they do now with a selection committee and all of that. I mean, how can you possibly send that message to all of these college athletes that you're saying are aspiring to become great people and great leaders? That hey, you know what, the guy we thought was way better than you, he's not playing, so you don't even get a shot, even though you've met all the other criteria. It really is. It's unfortunate. Look, somebody gets hosed in these circumstances a lot. When they were voting on it, the playoff was supposed to eliminate a lot of that. And yet this is such a travesty. Fortunately, it ends this year. You won't have that kind of a cutoff between 4 and 5. And it was very unusual to have that many teams that were all sort of under the same umbrella. I mean, look, is it a shame that Texas is in there? They were outstanding in their championship game. And to beat Georgia was no small accomplishment. So, sure, yeah, you can make a case for Texas and Alabama, but not ahead of Florida State. I just
think that the brand outweighed what happened on the field. The SEC banner.
That's it.
Outweighed everything. And Greg McElroy,
the banner being laced with cash,
blatantly
also
said it on the show when they were coming out with the announcement. He said, there's been an SEC team in for I don't know how many years, but probably every year, right? So the committee probably, they play a better brand of football. They have more competition, whatever the criteria was. But I've never seen a team go from 8, all the way up to 4. And, granted, give Alabama credit. They beat the number 1 team in the country.
But teams do that all the time.
But but how do you think Georgia feels the same way? Like we haven't lost a game.
The 3-point loss,
in 27 weeks or however many games they played.
29 in a row,
right. And now they lose by 3. It wasn't like they got blown out. That would vault somebody up the ladder. They lost by 3 points, and they're 6th. And how about this? Every team that is in the college football playoff, I wonder if Vegas put odds against Georgia. I bet every one of them would be underdogs.
Probably.
Possibly, yeah.
That's the funny thing is, the Orange Bowl could have been solace, right? Okay, we're not in, but Georgia's probably better than every team. Even though Georgia screwed around like everyone else, that's why I'm not scared of any of the teams. Any of the top 8 to me, I think, could have won it. Any of them, including Florida State and including Oregon, Oregon's 2 losses were close to a top 3.
There were 3 points.
So this would have been the perfect year for a playoff of 12. We all are saying that. The committee's like, God damn it, 1 year. Okay, well, it's not. That's life. You have to make tough decisions sometimes. Put on your fucking pants and go out the goddamn door. But the thing is, I don't know. It's just, I don't know. What they did was go against everything they've said for 10 years. And it's like, okay.
You had to think there was some television executive on the other end of the phone going, okay, way to go, guys.
Yeah.
You got that right. Very unfortunate circumstance. We went from election fraud to selection fraud, I think, in the span of 4 years. And unfortunately, election fraud probably be popping up again, as the presidential race comes around in 2024. All right, John, before we get into this break here and talk a little bit about Jimmy Johnson's Big Chill, which a friend of mine was commissioned, I believe, to do some artwork there as part of the renovation.
Nice.
So, yeah, I mean, a lot of good things happening there. They're going to spruce it up. But record-setting on-the-road performance by the Miami Dolphins. I don't think they've scored that many points on the road since 1986, something like that.
Wow.
Yeah.
What was the stat I believe that I saw? I mean, I might be confusing that with something else in what was a large compilation of numbers and numerology that was thrown at me over the weekend with sports and other things. But Yeah, very impressive. I mean, Tyreek Hill, 5 catches, 470 yards. That was amazing. Tua seemed to be on his game and a dominating performance. And Dolphins doing all of the things that they needed to do yesterday to continue on this run, which has you believing now with the Chiefs losing last night yeah, I mean they're right there as good as anybody in the AFC.
Yeah, they went from kind of coasting to win the AFC East to almost vaulting to stay home in the playoffs if they take care of business. They should probably wrap up the AFC East within the next couple of weeks if they keep winning, because Baltimore has a couple of hurdles they need to get over, and Buffalo doesn't look like a team that is going to threaten anybody down the stretch. This is the first time, Defo, I think the Dolphins at 9-3 since 2001.
Yep.
So, I mean, they're so explosive on offense, and they didn't miss a beat. Losing Jalen Phillips on the edge of that defense was going to be huge, but Van Ginkel and Ogba, really picked up the slack for those guys. And Van Ginkel has an interception, a pick six on a screen. He got causing havoc in the backfield. Both of those guys. I think the Dolphins sacked Sam Howell 3 times. They couldn't stop him on defense. The Commanders, they couldn't stop him.
No,
so it was one of those performances that if you're going to miss on Tyreek Hill, he's going to burn you. He's just so fast that when teams are used to seeing him live, he looks like he's not moving at all, but he's going right by you, because he's bouncing, so quickly on his feet. And Tua's just, getting the ball out on time. The offensive line did another terrific job of being able to run the football when they needed to, protect, and guys just running under passes. It's fun to watch every week. You're just saying, is Tyreek going to have another 100-yard game? I think he's had 8 of them this year with a touchdown. Mostert gets another one on the ground. He leads the NFL in rushing touchdowns. Tua's, going bananas at quarterback. So it's fun. It's a fun team to watch. And I feel bad for the Tennessee Titans coming in on Monday night, because at home, they're even more explosive.
Yes.
The one retort you would get from people that want to kind of bring it down from being giddy about the Miami Dolphins 9-3 start would be the 3 losses. And as you were looking at one of them, what was to Philadelphia, and as you looked at the Eagles the last couple of weeks, even though they'd been winning, people were trying to elevate them to being the best team in the league. Record-wise, they were, but they certainly seem suspect. And then they get cremated yesterday by the 49ers. And you were thinking, geez, if the Dolphins had done this, the way they performed against the Commanders, albeit a different team entirely on the road, if they had played like this with this kind of symmetry on offense against the Eagles, they probably would have won that game or should have. But what do you make of that? I mean, is that argument still valid that, hey, show me that you can beat a team with a winning record, and then we'll really start to buy into what this team is doing?
I think sometimes it comes down to matchups. And the reason why Philadelphia and Buffalo at the time and Kansas City got the better end of the Miami Dolphins is they're probably just better built, and they're used to playing at another level, where the teams that are kind of muddying the waters at 500 or below are there for a reason. They give up big plays. They're not as good on the line of scrimmage. They turn the football over. The Dolphins, they've been winning, but they've been turning the football over. They didn't do it yesterday, but they've been on the losing end of that turnover margin for a while. But they've been able to overcome it in certain games because they're playing lesser opponents. And when they do play good teams, if they do make mistakes against the Buffaloes of the world or Kansas City or Philadelphia, they're going to lose those games. And they were on the bottom end of that in those 3 contests. So, when the Dolphins have to gear up for Tennessee, yeah, they still have to protect the football. But when you look at what the teams are on paper, you go, wow, Miami should win by double digits. They should be able to get after the rookie quarterback. They should be able to score points on that defense. And they have the Jets coming in again. The Jets can't score more than 10 points. Would they have,
oh, my God,
an 8-burger yesterday or something? I
put up an 8 spot. They were up 2-0 early in the ball game. Got a couple of field goals. They're out of quarterbacks. I mean,
right.
And now that Joe Flacco signed with the Browns,
that's right.
they don't even have a lot of options.
It was great.
They can't find a guy floating around. No, horrendous. I mean, between the Patriots and the Jets, I'm not sure how much of a distinction with Buffalo in a little bit of disarray and seemingly some sort of mild chaotic decline. The AFC East didn't seem as formidable by any stretch of the imagination as it's been in the past when the Dolphins were hoping to maybe be the second or third best team in the division. Yeah, I mean, no, that was an ugly game. There are a lot of ugly games. I mean, we'll get into that. I guess in just a few minutes we'll talk some more about some of the other stuff that's going on in the NFL and also college football with the bowl games now all lined up.
Look, we use the word travesty in life a lot. We use it in sports way too often. I get it. We're down here in South Florida where FSU lost head-to-head to the Canes, and the Canes were left out of a championship game. So people probably don't have love lost for the Noles, especially since you're rivals with the Noles. Totally get it. But neither of those was an undefeated Power 5 champion in the playoff era. This has never happened in the playoff era. Nothing close to what's happened in the playoff era. Yes, I am a Florida State Seminole fan. I'm an alum. I taught there. So it's near and dear to my heart. I get a lot of you probably don't care anywhere near as much. But as a sports fan, we're told whatever happens to you, injuries, whatever you do, if you can overcome all odds and you can win all your games and there's less than the amount of teams in the playoffs undefeated, which there was 3 and you get 4, you're in. FSU wasn't. As you can tell, I'm brokenhearted and frustrated. I'm sure Canes fans are in all their glory with this, and Gator fans are too. But it does put a black mark on the sport. To me, it's not a sport anymore. It's a game/entertainment. It's like wrestling, figure skating, boxing. It's a sport-ish, but the play on the field does not control everything. There are puppeteers that do. And that is life, I guess, a life lesson. One thing that has been strong is the Miami Dolphins, now 9-3. I think solely number 1, because they have the tiebreaker over the Ravens right now with conference record. In the AFC, I think they do control their own destiny because they will play the Ravens head-to-head. This season's looking strong. Yeah, they were 8-3 last year and lost 5 in a row. Well, they didn't lose 5 in a row. They've already won 1 and changed the course from last year. Let's hope they keep it going. We keep it going each and every day from 8 to 9 on South Florida Live. You can check us out on No Filter or Caffeine TV. Just search The Morning Briefing on Google, The Morning Briefing, Caffeine TV. We do a show each and every day from 10 to 12 on the Tony Bruno Sports Network. We have a national podcast as well, the Believe Network, BLEAV.com. Search After Hours and our South Florida sports content right here. The Defo Show with Lubie on the 5 Reasons Sports Network.
From the newly renovated sports bar to the beautiful bayside views captured at the Tiki Bar, Jimmy Johnson's Big Chill has it all. Located at mile marker 104, the Big Chill also offers waterfront dining while experiencing breathtaking sunset views of the Florida Keys. It's simply the hottest spot in the Keys to cool off. That's Jimmy Johnson's Big Chill at mile marker 104 in Key Largo. For more information, call today at 305-453-9066.
These days, we're all looking for comfort anywhere we can find it. Thank goodness for Landlubbers Raw Bar and Grill in Plantation, because they are making sure you are as comfortable as possible. First of all, they're not only open for delivery and pickup. All you have to do is go to landlubbersbarandgrill.com for both pickup and free delivery. You're going to have the best wings in the world. You're going to have a great burger. You're going to have their amazing soups. Again, Landlubbers, Raw Bar, and Grill. It's nice and easy. Just go to landlubbersbarandgrill.com for both your pickup and free delivery. Thank goodness for Landlubbers for making you always feel right at home.